The 2018 Touring Sciàdipersia. The history of Carrozzeria Touring Superleggera stretches all the way back to 1926, with a lengthy hiatus between 1966 and 2008 breaking up an otherwise very impressive resume of custom cars and design work. The latest from this Italian powerhouse is called the Sciàdipersia, and as you might have guessed, it's an utterly bespoke, limited-run sports machine dripping with high-end details. Continue reading to learn more about the Touring Sciàdipersia. Touring Sciàdipersia exterior. One look is all that's needed to confirm the company's intention to create a classic Grand Touring shape. Touring takes a lot of pride in its Italian-centric design work, and the Sciàdipersia is no different. One look is all that's needed to confirm the company's intention here, as the two-door gets a classic Grand Touring shape complete with lovely curving lines, a long hood, and a cab back emphasis for the profile proportions. When viewed from the front, the Sciàdipersia's fascia gets a clean, horizontal style that's meant to mimic the sporty styling of the past. The look is clean and low, with plenty of horizontal design elements to add a little visual girth to the thing. A prominent divider line is added above the central intake, while below is a trio of ancillary intakes. The corners are occupied by small headlight housings and projects, which are underlined by further trim and garnish. The fenders pull the eye rearwards and towards the flank, while the hood gets two sets of vents set in a V-shape pointing towards the windshield. The car's best angle has to be the profile, where those GT proportions truly shine. The car's best angle has to be the profile, where those GT proportions truly shine. Here we find the low stance on full display, while the overhangs are short in front and longer in the back. The proportions give the vehicle a natural forward-leaning rake, while the curving roofline adds extra sporting flavor. Occupying the corners you'll find large multi-spoke wheels made from forged aluminum, measuring in at 20 inches in diameter. Moving into the rear, we find additional angles for the trunk line, with the body panels offset by contrasting silver panels. More horizontal design elements make their presence known, which also include the two oval exhaust outlets integrated on either side of the rear bumper. Higher up, the rear glass is free from additional support pillars, once again emphasizing the horizontal dimension and opening up the windows for more ambient lighting inside the cabin. From tip to tail, the Touring Sciàdipersia uses aluminum trim pieces. These bits are both polished to a mirror finish and use a hand-brushed satin finish, creating a bit more play in the exterior color. The deep dark paint you see layered across the body panels is dubbed Orient Night Blue. The deep dark paint you see layered across the body panels is dubbed Orient Night Blue. As you probably expect, Touring usually has some, let's say gilded language when describing its vehicles. Such is the case with the Sciàdipersia, which Touring likens to an arrow drawn back by a bow, about to sail through the air to strike its target. The brand also describes the Sciàdipersia as a large, powerful, luxurious car, but cleverly designed to disguise its size, demonstrating that mastery of design and craftsmanship can lighten the appearance, adding an ethereal, diaphanous quality. Sure, why not? In terms of actual dimensions though, we can compare the Sciàdipersia to the Maserati Gran Turismo, which provides the Touring Custom with its mechanical bits to support the new exterior stuff hewn by the Italian craftsman. Lined up side by side, the Sciàdipersia is a little longer, but overall, it's pretty much the same size as the Maserati. Touring Sciàdipersia interior. Step inside the Sciàdipersia's cabin, and the car's Maserati roots become much more obvious. Step inside the cabin of the Touring Sciàdipersia, and the car's Maserati roots become much more obvious. The overall design doesn't really deviate from the more mass-produced alternative, with the same dash, center console, infotainment screen, and gauge cluster. Even the three-spoke multifunction steering wheel is identical to that of the Maserati, although the badge in the middle of the wheel is new. Luckily, the Maserati Gran Turismo does offer all the right stuff for a vehicle like this, including 4 comfortable and supportive seats, low NVH levels, and other similar details designed to cover long distance with complete ease and in total comfort. That said, Touring does take care to give the Sciàdipersia's cabin some extra premium touches where appropriate. For example, the leather upholstery is sourced from Foglizzo, which has been doing the custom luxury hide thing since 1921. The leather even offers its own unique aroma specially developed for the Touring model. The headrests get an extra flourish with the Sciàdipersia name hand-embroidered right into the leather. The Touring model also offers more blue coloring for the seats, with contrast piping and stitching throughout. Lighter colors are used elsewhere to offset the dark blue seats. The interior is meant to recall the days of the Orient Express and the large ocean liners of the past. The revised exterior provides extra ambient light inside while also giving passengers panoramic views of the passing scenery. This is yet another nod to the old school, meant to recall the days of the Orient Express and the large ocean liners of the past. Touring also says the interior's horizontal divider line is meant to mimic a horizon, with the land below and the sky above. Finally, the Touring Sciàdipersia comes with a custom-matched set of Foglizzo luggage, which fits right into the trunk of the vehicle. Total cargo capacity is rated at 260 liters (9.18 cubic feet). Touring Sciàdipersia drivetrain. This time around, Touring went with the modern Maserati Gran Turismo for the mechanical bits. In case you were unaware, Touring built the Sciàdipersia as a nod to the custom machines it created in 1958 for the Shah of Iran, hence the name. Those cars were based on the Maserati 5000 GT, and as such, the new Sciàdipersia is also based on a Maserati. This time around, Touring went with the modern Maserati Gran Turismo for the mechanical bits, and the drivetrain, powertrain, electrical systems, and electronics all remain unchanged. That means the reshaped hood hides a naturally aspirated V8 for motivation, which fits the GT theme well with its meaty torque curve and robust soundtrack. Standout features include a 90-degree angle for the cylinder banks, 4.7 liters of displacement, and Ferrari DNA. Output is sent exclusively to the rear axle. Making the connection is a Maserati 6-speed sequential transmission with an automatic shift function and steering wheel-mounted shift paddles. Alternatively, buyers can get theirs with a more hands-off approach courtesy of a 6-speed automatic and torque converter from ZF. The Touring is lighter than its Maserati predecessor, weighing in at just 1,700 kilograms (3,748 pounds). In terms of power, the Touring matches the Maserati with 460 horses at 7,000 revolutions per minute and 384 pound-feet of torque at 4,750 revolutions per minute. Acceleration figures are also the same, with a run to 100 km per hour, 62 miles per hour, completed in about 4.6 seconds. Top speed is rated at 301 km per hour, 187 miles per hour. And although it's rather thirsty, combined fuel consumption is rated at 15 liters per 100 kilometers. The car has a rather sizable fuel tank, with max capacity rated at 86 liters, 22.7 gallons. Impressively, the Touring is also lighter than its Maserati predecessor, weighing in at just 1,700 kilograms, 3,748 pounds, thanks to its utilization of lightweight materials like carbon fiber. For the sake of comparison, that's almost 400 pounds less than the Gran Turismo, which tips the scales at 1,880 kilograms, 4,140 pounds. Finally, grip is made by high-performance tire compounds from Pirelli, sized at 245 35ths ZR20 in front and 285 35ths ZR20 in the rear. Touring Sciàdipersia prices. As you might expect, this thing is pretty pricey, and it's best to assume to that if you have to ask, you can't afford it. Touring introduced the Sciàdipersia earlier this year at the 2018 Geneva Motor Show. While only 3 examples of the preceding custom Maserati 5000 GT were created back in the 50s, the Sciàdipersia will be offered in slightly higher numbers, with a total of 10 examples slated for production. Each will be hand-built at Touring's Manifattura facility in Milan using hand-formed panels plus a good deal of custom carbon fiber components as well. Each example takes 6 months to complete. As you might expect, that makes these things pretty pricey, and while the company declined to make official pricing public, it's best to assume to that if you have to ask, you can't afford it. However, if we were to guess, this thing is definitely deep into the six-figure range, especially when you consider that the donor Maserati Gran Turismo will, by itself, run you a hefty $132,975. Throw in all the available options Touring has on the table for the Sciàdipersia, and, well, you better have quite the bank to back your taste. Touring Sciàdipersia competition. Bentley Continental Gt. While it might not offer the same exclusivity as the Sciàdipersia, the Bentley Continental GT certainly has what it takes to match it in terms of luxury. Inside this two-door monster is an incredible level of high-end opulence, with copious digital entertainment, sumptuous materials, and precision fit and finish practically oozing from every pore. Options and customization opportunities are plentiful, which means anyone looking for something a little more bespoke shouldn't have any trouble kitting theirs out to taste. What's more, this thing is fast, with a standard twin-turbo W12 under the hood doling out an impressive 636 horsepower and 664 pound-feet of torque. Keep your foot in it, and the Bentley Continental GT will hit 60 miles per hour in about 3.5 seconds, going on to a top speed of 207 miles per hour. Not too shabby for a luxury land yacht, eh? Read our full review of the 2018 Bentley Continental GT. Conclusion. This isn't about blistering lap times or the finest wood veneer, it's about exclusivity and prestige, and the Sciàdipersia has both in droves. The Touring Sciàdipersia was originally commissioned by a fan of Touring Superleggera, and that's exactly the sort of folks who will buy this thing. Sure, you can get something that's faster, more modern, and more comfortable for less money, but if that's your thought process, you're missing the point entirely. This isn't about blistering lap times or the finest wood veneer, it's about exclusivity and prestige, and the Sciàdipersia has both in droves. Of course, one could use it like a real car, if desired. Touring frames it as an innovative interpretation of the Gran Turismo theme, a car designed for long journeys, where the passengers derive as much pleasure from the journey as the driver, and overall, we think that's pretty accurate. Keep your eyes out, because who knows what Touring will do next. Love it. Looks great. Naturally aspirated V8 powerplant soundtrack highly exclusive. Leave it. Interior could use more work. Not that fast by modern standards. Eye-watering price tag references. Read our full review on the 2018 Maserati Gran Turismo. Read more Geneva Motor Show news.
If you liked this video, please share your thoughts in the comments below and don't forget to hit the subscribe button.